Okay, most of us are familiar with the hero's journey. Linear, conquering, external achievement kind of a path, a mythic map to understanding our lives in the capitalistic, masculine kind of a world. But there are other mythic maps and possibilities out there. I'm Hagar, welcome to Mama Mandala, where magic is somatic. We're gonna take this invitation into a multitude of mythic maps into our bodies through a yoga practice. We're gonna explore the way that there are other ways, there are other pathways, other patterns that we can teach ourselves to explore life with. There's the heroine's journey, which is cyclical, which invites us into inner transformation that is different from the hero's journey that takes us into this external pursuit. And then there's the non-binary map, the non-binary pattern of the heroic journey that invites us to break existing patterns that no longer work. It's the pattern of arriving at a world that needs a shift, that needs a change. And the change in the non-binary mythic map is going to be different than the archetypal map of story that focuses on the trickster. So you see, there's a lot of ways that we can explore this, and we can take it also beyond the human into mythic maps that invite a multi-species exploration. So there's so much that we can do. I don't promise that we will do all of that today with one yoga practice, but I do promise that we will continue to explore, unfold, and excavate different ways of thinking, seeing, exploring, and understanding ourselves and the world we're in. So go ahead and come onto your mat to all fours, your hands and your knees. And if a mat is not your thing, you can do it on the floor. You can do it on the grass. You can do it however you want to do it. Spread your fingers and root your hands into the floor as you move your hips a little bit side to side, already inviting movement into your body. The hero's journey pattern begins with the call to adventure, just like our yoga practice begins with a call to adventure, and a little bit of a resistance. The hero doesn't want to go on this adventure. And honestly, neither does the heroine. And often, not always, neither does the non-binary heroic character. Move now into cat and cow slowly. So with an inhalation, reach your chest forward and your hips back. And with an exhalation, look in towards your navel and round your back. And invite your breath, inhale, to arch your back and look forward into a bit of a tone in the back of your throat. Exhale and round your back and look towards your navel. That creates this resonant sound, like a sigh or a whisper. A couple of more, and as you move like that with your breath, with that tone in the back of the throat, ground the inner edges of your hands into the earth. That's the part that's going to want to disconnect, because the hero, the heroine, the non-binary heroic character are all going to want to disconnect at moments. And the invitation of the heroic journey, no matter what pattern we take, inhale and bring yourself to the space between cat and cow, and exhale slowly into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. The invitation is to engage and bring ourselves back into connection, right in the places, areas, moments, situations where the desire to disconnect becomes strong. So keep your hands rooted. Reach your right leg up with a deep inhalation up towards the sky. Spread your toes so your right leg is also engaged. Keep your hands rooted, and exhale. Bend the knee and step your foot forward in between your hands. Lengthen your spine. Deep breath in. Root your feet into the earth, into the path. We move through the path, but our feet are rooted on the path, on the ground. grounded, connected, present. With the next exhalation, ground your hands and step back to downward facing dog. In a way, the hero's journey has disconnected humanity from the earth. Inhale the left leg up because it is so focused on the individual. Exhale, step the foot forward in between the hands. But the heroine's journey and the non-binary journey are processes and patterns that reweave us as a community, that reintegrates all of our parts, that brings us to our role not only as not as a conquering and not only as someone who's here in this life only for themselves, exhale and step back to downward facing dog, but as someone who connects through their own individual journey to a journey that is greater than their own. With an inhale, keep your hands rooted and bring your knees down to the floor. Tips of your fingers rooted into the earth. Exhale, bring your hips down and your chest forward and up as you point your feet and lift your chest into cobra. And we don't need to choose one pattern. Move a little bit side to side, serpentine movement. Cobra, wavering, because the invitation here is to move like a serpent, like a snake, between patterns and not decide that one is better than the other, but rather create a more cohesive, inclusive, and diverse way of experiencing and exploring ourselves. Exhale slowly, tuck your toes and stretch up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog, hands rooted. And notice how you feel. Notice how you are in terms of resistance, where you are, what your experience is. Look between your hands, bend your knees, lift your hips up to the sky, and with an exhalation, either jump forward or step forward. Uttanasana, forward bend, and you can bend your knees if you feel like this is too much on your lower back. You can also put your hands on blocks or even on a couch if you need to. So if you have lower back stuff going on and you feel really tight in your hamstrings, give yourself a way to back up from the depth of the pose so that you bring deep respect to where you are, to your body. Inhale and look forward, halfway up. Keep breathing through the tone in the back of the throat. Exhale, fold back in. And we feel as we practice that there is a circular, cyclical, inhale, look forward, halfway up, nature to our practice and therefore to our lives. Exhale, fold back in. And that's the heroine's journey. The heroine goes down into the underworld for deep transformation. Inhale and look forward, halfway up. And then back up. Exhale, fold back in to reintegrate the lessons of the underworld in her life. Ground through your legs, bend your knees, and inhale. Reach your hips back and your chest forward as you circle your arms and rise all the way up. And exhale, bring your hands to the heart. But she rises up and reintegrates. Inhale and reach your arms up high. Reaches high for possibilities, for sunlight, for creativity. And exhale, bend the knees, reach your hips back, chest forward, fold forward, fingertips down to the earth. Uttanasana, grounds back down into the underworld. Inhale, look forward, where more lessons need to be excavated. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your hands, reach your hips back, your chest forward, and we're gonna either jump back or step back to chaturanga. But what I would like to make sure that you're doing is bending your elbows on the way back. So don't land with your elbows straight, land with your elbows bent, and maybe you need to go all the way down to the floor. Inhale, forward and up into cobra. So it's a journey of deeply accepting, receiving, and being with where we are. And only from there, we can change and shift and transform. Exhale, tuck your toes and stretch up and back, downward facing dog. And we can feel the cyclicality through our breath. The journey, the process is not linear. Here we are. We're going to do another sun salutation. Another Surya Namaskar. Bend your knees, lift your hips, look forward, hips up to the sky, and either jump forward or step forward into Uttanasana. Look forward with your inhale halfway up and fold back in as you exhale. Now, as you rise up, you can bend your knees and circle your arms or keep your legs straight. Hips back, chest forward, rise up with a deep inhalation. And exhale, bring your hands to the heart. So I don't want us to cancel the hero's journey because we're going to need external pursuit as well. I'm not canceling it. Inhale, reach your arms up high. But we got to see the shadow of it, the problems of it, and we got to include other ways. Exhale, fold forward and bring your fingertips to the floor. Inhale and look forward, halfway up. And then bend your knees, plant your hands, and again, fingertips rooted, inner edges of your hands rooted. You look forward and either jump back or step back to land with your elbows bent in chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, forward and up. Point your feet, spread your toes. Draw the top part of your shoulders, the heads of your arm bones into the back plane of your body, into the sockets for the heads of the arm bones to lean into, to root into, and exhale, stretch up and back, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana, hands rooted, breath deep and full. The breath shows us our cyclicality. It invites us into the recognition that the linear is only, it's almost like it's an illusion, right? Because you feel like you're going in one direction, but then you end up cyclically, spiralically, returning, revisiting. Look forward, bend your knees. Hasn't that happened to you in your life? Look forward and lift up through your hips. Exhale, jump forward, a step forward. Uttanasana, look forward, inhale. Right? You resolve something. Exhale, fall back in. You think you've overcome something. Ground the legs. Inhale, reach your arms up. And then you find yourself with similar issues. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. With similar patterns inside yourself again, right? Because that's your life, right? It has a cyclical nature, just like nature, just like the seasons. Reach your arms up high. Inhale. So that's not a problem to solve. Exhale, fold forward, touch the ground. Uttanasana, like actually much of the yoga tradition tells us that it's a problem to solve. Look forward, inhale. Bend your knees. Plant your hands, and you're going to send your chest forward and your feet back, landing with your elbows bent. Chaturanga, inhale, cobra, forward and up. Heads of the arm bones back. Exhale, tuck your toes, stretch up and back. Downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Hands are rooted, breath deep and full. Right leg up with an inhale. And with an exhale, step your foot forward in between your hands. Lengthen your spine, and with an exhalation, reach your right arm up to the sky. Root down through your feet and elongate. Crown of the head in one direction, left heel in the opposite direction. Draw the front of your hip bone towards, both hip bones towards each other, but particularly the right one toward the left as you draw the sides of the ribs on the right side toward the left, toward the floor. Hi, Gracie. And exhale, reach your chest up to the sky. Breath deep and full. With an inhalation, untwist, touch the earth, and step back as you exhale. Downward facing dog. Hands rooted, breath deep and full. Left leg up, inhale. Exhale, step the foot forward in between your hands. Lengthen your spine so the crown of the head elongates forward. The right heel stretches back. Exhale, the left arm up towards the sky. To create the strength that we need, we're going to need to activate our resistance, not let go of it completely. So the heroine is going to go down to the underworld and she's going to resist letting go of her old identity, but also at the same time surrender to it. The non-binary heroic is going to resist the current structures and break down the patterns in new and different creative ways. So resist the twist as you turn your chest up to the sky. As you twist, resist it. So the front of the left hip bone goes towards the right, the left ribs goes towards the right side of your ribs, and the chest reaches up to the sky. Untwist with an inhalation, and as you exhale, step back into downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana, hands rooted, breath full and deep. Look forward, bend your knees, lift your hips, and either jump forward or step forward into Uttanasana. Look forward, deep breath in. Fold back in with an exhalation. Ground your legs, rise up, inhale. Bring your hands to your heart as you exhale. Take a wide-legged stance. Ground into the feet. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Take a breath. Stretch your arms back behind you. Now, if this is too tight on your shoulders and you feel like your shoulders are pushing forward when you have your hands behind your back, or if you can't even clasp your hands behind your back, if you have a yoga strap, fantastic. You can use a yoga strap, but it's not necessary. You can use a shirt. You can use a scarf. So hold something behind you if you need to, as you stretch your arms back to really open up through the chest, open up the front of your shoulders, and with an exhalation, fold forward slowly, hips back, chest forward, arms stretch over the head, slow breath. Deep breaths through the tone in the back of the throat. You are not just on a quest. Part of the non-binary mythic map invites us into a different kind of experience. The heroine journey takes us into an inner quest. Inhale, bring your fingertips to the floor. Release your hands. Look forward. The hero takes us into an external quest. Exhale, fold back in. Turn your right toes out. Keep your left foot where it is. Right toes out so your foot is parallel to the side of the mat. And hands on the inside, you're going to walk them diagonally. So they're on the side of your right foot, but walking diagonally away from your foot. I'm mirroring you. So it's my left, your right. I'm telling myself, reach your hips back. Press your feet down and widen your right knee away from your right arm bone. The knee wants to go toward the arm bone, so widen it away. Breathe deeply and press both feet down. So there's a quest with the masculine on the external and a quest with the feminine on the internal, a deep inner transformation, deep integration of all the parts. But with a non-binary heroic, there's not necessarily a quest. It's more of a share. It's more here for the community. It orients itself towards something greater than itself. Slowly walk your hands to the center. Turn your right toes in, right leg straightens. Turn your left toes out, left knee bends. Walk your hands away from your left foot. Press your hands down and reach your hips up as you widen your left knee to your left. And the beauty, again, it's like the serpent, like cobra pose, moving side to side. You don't need to choose one. You need to incorporate the many. This is where the heroine journey really helps, because she's all about integration of all the parts. We want integration of all the parts, and we want the ability to break it into more ways, into more possibilities. That's the non-binary character. So we want to be able to just keep making more, broadening the possibilities, integrating what was, integrating the new, weaving further, deeper, more patterns Slowly walk your hands to the front. Turn your left toes in as you straighten your left leg and fold deeply in. We don't need to choose. We need to make more possibilities, more maps. Exhale, slowly fold back in. And then ground through the legs and rise up. Hips back, chest forward. Reach your arms up. And exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Turn your right toes out. Reach your arms out to the side. Deep breath in. I'm making a little bit more space because I can feel like my stance is too narrow. So you can always change things up as needed. Exhale, bend deep into your front knee. Warrior two. Now draw here as well the front of the hip bones, the ASISS, towards each other. Widen the right knee to the right, but draw your left ASIS back. See how that's strengthening both the lower abdominal region, but also the hips. So it's strengthening, it collects you, it weaves you back together. Lengthen and reach, crown of the head to the sky, arms out, feet into the earth, and breathe. Deep into cyclicality of the breath. Meeting yourself wherever you are on the cycle that you're in right now. Reach back up, straighten your right leg with an inhale. Turn your right toes in. Turn your left toes out. Deep breath in. Again, adjust as needed. So I want the heel of, in this case, it's going to be my left, right? My right, but your left. The heel of the left with the middle of the right foot. And then exhale, bend the left knee. And can you feel how your body, upper body, your torso wants to go with you to the left? So try as best you can to line up, to vertically line up the crown of the head over the middle of your pelvis. Arms out to the side, breath is deep. And then keep that length, that stacking as you bend deep into your left knee. See, we're not getting rid of the verticality of the hero's journey. I want to keep reminding myself and you that we're not trying to get rid of it, but we need to move past it and beyond it and include other ways. Not throw it away, but open up more pathways. Inhale, stretch your left leg straight. Turn your left toes in. Exhale slowly. Inhale, lift your fingers behind your back. This time, put the opposite index on top if you're clasping. If you're holding onto a strap or a shirt or a scarf, do that. Reach your arms back, and with an exhalation, hips back, chest forward, fold forward. Deep breath. The universe is diversity embodied. So our mythic maps need to reflect that so that we expand the culture to include diversity in a way that isn't closed-minded and binary in its thinking. Release your fingertips to the floor, because sometimes even a progressive point of view starts to become very locked. Do you know what I mean? Like, we can see it in our culture, right? Bring your feet a little closer towards one another. And then bring your, I'll mirror you. So bring your left knee behind your right. Move your hips a little side to side, and then take a seat with your right leg on top, your right foot on the outside of your left thigh. And then bring your fingertips behind you. You can, if you feel like you're rounding a lot here, or like this is too much, like for your hips, you can't really find yourself, sit up on a blanket or even a block. So elevate your hips if needed, okay? So that you're not locking the hip area because you're trying to open, right? You want to set yourself up for, I want to say success, because that's what we're used to saying, right? Bring your left elbow outside of your right thigh or knee and resist the twist. So the right hip bone, the right side of the ribs draw towards the left, but your chest goes to the right. We're so used to saying, set yourself up for success. And again, not throwing away success. Success is a good idea. I'm not against it. But we also know that success is, through the heroine journey, success, she learns that success is it's an illusion. It doesn't solve the problem, right? It doesn't necessarily get us deeper. That's from Maureen Murdoch's Heroine Journey. Highly recommend this book. Turn your chest to the right as you resist with your right hip and right ribs, turning them to the left. Back to center, inhale. And then let's go into it the way we got into the other side, okay? So stand back up, shake your hips a little bit, and then bring your right knee behind your left to sit down so that your left leg is on top. The inner edge of your left foot rooted into the earth, which is going to make your left knee hug in more. Move your right hip a little more to the right so you can broaden your seat. Okay, and again, sit up on something if you need to. Listen to yourself. Listen to what you need. And then turn your chest to the left as you bring your right elbow outside of the left thigh. Draw the heads of the arm bones on both sides into their sockets, particularly the left one right now. Do you feel how it's the tendency is to round here in the twist. So broaden. Break the pattern of where you find yourself, right? Reorient ourselves. That's what a twist does, right? It's a pivot point. It twists us in a different direction. So we want to also take the form of the pose, but then resist the tendency in the pose. Break the pattern. Break up with the thing that locks you in a certain perspective or in just one way of doing something or one way of thinking of things, right? So that's the role of the non-binary archetypal hero, heroine, heroic. Inhale back to center. Let's go back to standing so that we're coming out of it the same way, and shake it out a little bit. And then bring yourself back down to a seat. Right foot outside of your left knee. Now, this is a deep hip opener where we're going. If it's too deep for you, you can lean back, put your left foot on the floor with your right foot on the outside of your left knee. You will tend to round your back, so I invite you to lift your chest and lift your lower back up a little bit. And if this is a lot for your hip, that's where you're staying. Fantastic. We're putting a fire log into the fire. Move your hips a little bit side to side. And this is a reflective invitation. It's a pose that stokes the fire. Lengthen your spine, breathe deeply, flex your feet, engage your feet. If it's okay for you, you can fold forward. What I want you to pay attention to here is that your feet don't, so that here's the best way, is if you look at your feet, I want you to not be able to see the soles of your feet. So the inner edges of your feet, the big toe mound and the inner heels push out toward the sides of to the front and the back of your mat. But the outer edge of your foot, the pinky toe side of your foot, pulls in toward the center of your body. Slow breath. The journey of the heroine into the fire, into the underworld, into the transformation of her being. Slow breath is a reflective one. It's fiery, it's intense, it's fierce, it's ferocious, but it's her self-reflection that is where she meets the intensity. Just like in this pose. It's deep, it's intense. The hip is saying things, right? And some curse words, perhaps. But it's a pose that is grounding and reflective and internal. The churning happens more on the inside here. Send your chest forward and your hips back to slowly sit back up. And then stretch your legs, shake them out a little bit. And other side. So left foot outside of your right knee bends. Start by putting your foot on the ground. Lift your chest, lift your lower back. Engage your foot, spread your toes. And if this is a lot for you, you stay here. And if you can take it further, stack your shins on top of each other. Keep your feet flexed. Outer edges of your feet pulling in. Inner edges of your feet pushing out. Lengthen your spine so the pubic bone roots, the spine elongates through your crown. And then if it's okay for you, you can send your chest forward and go deep in. Slow breath. And the idea is not to end in the hero's pose versus heroine's pose, breaking into non-binary journey, right? I said pose and I meant journey because a pose is a journey, right? The point is to multiply and fracture and refract through reflection the possibilities, the many maps, so that we have a way to find ourselves wherever we are, so that we have a way to understand life and the world more deeply. Our mythic journey, when we work with archetypes, helps us tremendously to discover things about ourselves, to understand the culture, history, to have a view into philosophical pathways in life. Slowly come up, inhale. And then stretch your legs forward, check them out. And go ahead and lie on your back. Bring your knees into your chest. So give yourself a nice big hug. Move a little bit side to side on your spine. I can hear my dog, my Gracie, lying down here and snoring. So here you are, deep rest for you as well. Shavasana. Go ahead and release your arms, release your legs. Let the earth receive you. If you need to shake your hips a little bit, move them around, you can do that. Allow the palms to face up as they rest by your side, or if it feels better for you, sometimes I like to do that, so I'm offering that to you. You can rest your hands on your lower belly and relax the effort of your breath. So in the next breath or two, release your Ujjayi breath and let the breath breathe you. And Shavasana is a phase. Death, it's the pose of the corpse, right? So death is a phase. It's not the end. It's the stage before rebirth. It's deep integration. It's where the goddess Inanna and her sister, her dark sister, Ereshkigal, the queen of the underworld, are reunited, reintegrated into one another. It's not an easy path or a simple journey. But death creates the ground for reintegration and recreation, reemergence. the way that a body decomposes and breaks down, it makes the soil and new things can grow. So rest into the possibilities that come through releasing form and giving time and space to decomposition and the simultaneity of reintegration. Rest deeply. Gracie's snoring is the soundtrack of your shavasana. You can start to slowly wiggle your toes and your fingers. Take a deep breath and stretch your arms over your head. Lengthen your body. Bend your knees, and you can move to the left or the right. I'm going to turn to the left because the structure of the familiar turns us to the right. So I'm breaking the pattern of doing the beyond binary pathway out of shavasana. And then bring yourself slowly with your hands, the support of your hands, back into your seat. Bring your hands together in front of your heart in Anjali Mudra, in this gesture of Anjali, of the offering, of the heart's deepest offering. Offer yourself the map, the mythic map, the mythic maps, the many possibilities, so that you can weave yourself in a non-linear, in a multitude of ways, in a simultaneity of different parts and different possibilities with your life. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so grateful. I had fun with you. I hope that was informative and interesting for you. And if it was, and you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Listen, I wrote a whole essay about the hero's journey versus the heroine's journey and other pathways, other mythic maps. And I would love for you to check it out. You can check it out on my blog on mamamandala.com. And I will leave a link for you in the description of the video so that you can find it more easily. And I also created a ritual guide for the secular soul where you can turn the myth, an archetype into a ritual, into something that you can come to and work with in your life. There are many ideas and a pretty expansive way of looking at ritual and other ideas for rituals. So I would love for you to check that out. It's totally free, and I will leave a link for you to grab that in the description of the video as well. And other than that, I cannot wait to see you again. Put a like on this video, subscribe to this channel, and I'll check you out. I'll hang out with you sometime soon, okay? Thank you so much. Namaste. Thank you.